Constantly, I'm being assaulted with this picture.
That is so strange.
It's so weird. Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And this week we have the shopping bug. We just want to go out there and spend. But uh-oh, what's this? A cursed item.
Whoa, I didn't expect this in my mall madness game.
Nope. But we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, people have been buying and selling haunted stuff for a long time now.
Of course.
I haven't thought about the idea of buying cursed artifacts on eBay or Etsy or what have you.
Yeah.
In quite a while.
Yeah.
Admittedly. So it was interesting to take a look in 2025 and see, like, how hot is this market? What are people experiencing?
How was it?
I mean, I could get right into it if you want me to.
Well, so what we're going to do is Will took a look at the current market and saw what was out there. He's going to tell us what he found. And I found stories of people who actually bought cursed things and what happened to them.
Yeah. So what's the proper way to even handle this? Do we see, like, this is what you could be doing and then see what the outcome could become?
I think so.
I'll probably go first.
Yeah.
So then I'll just very briefly say.
It was a tantalizing teaser.
Just a little soupçon. An appetizer.
Is that what soupçon means?
I don't know. I've heard Kevin Smith say that.
Okay.
If that counts for anything.
That's why you said it.
I anticipated the haunted doll market to have plummeted.
No,
If anything, listen, I can't compare it to its height. For all I know, we're at its height.
Sure.
I just know that I was aware of people selling haunted dolls on eBay years ago. And especially around, like, hyped up things like the Dybbuk box through Zach Bagans or any number of things. The Annabelle doll, there are now all these haunted dolls.
Yeah.
And people write these little, like, short stories in the descriptions, basically, where they essentially say, like, this doll is haunted, but here's why it's haunted. It's haunted by the spirit of an old priest, and here's what he does. He slams my doors. And it always says at the bottom, eBay makes me say, like, quote, eBay makes me say this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yep.
You are just buying a doll. I cannot claim it's actually haunted per eBay's rules.
Yeah, but wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
This is all, I'm only saying this because eBay is making me say that. You and I both know that it's actually very haunted.
Which is part of the reason why I would have thought that this bubble had burst years ago. I poked around, Chris, and I even wrote up some statistics.
Oh, great.
The market appears to be alive and well.
Yeah.
Thriving. Per my research, and this is literally my own independent research looking at 7 days of data. I project off of 7 days of sales that this is annually an industry that brings in almost $700,000 every year.
Amazing.
Of people just selling haunted dolls.
Yeah.
That makes almost $1 million.
And just on eBay?
That's just eBay. That's just eBay.
Yeah.
I didn't look at other places like Etsy or Temu. I didn't look at, like, what's the Wish version of a haunted doll even look like?
Yeah. Mass produced.
Yeah, a haunted doll or something. I don't have that data.
Yeah.
Just look, and that's literally looking at sold items.
Yeah.
So the market is doing quite well. And I did also.
I would think Annabelle certainly doesn't hurt things.
Yeah. Is this primarily being driven by Annabelle?
I don't know if primarily, but I think that it probably has a big effect.
It's interesting. It'll be hard to ever be able to determine for sure.
Yeah.
But Annabelle is the haunted doll.
Right. The premier haunted doll.
Aside from Robert the doll. I was thinking.
Of course. I love Robert.
Yeah, last week we talked about those Conjuring movies. Will there be a phase 2 or whatever? Like, retire Annabelle, bring in Robert the doll.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even need to swap out. Like, the real Annabelle is just a Raggedy Ann.
Yep.
And they made a scary looking porcelain doll for the movies. Robert the doll, you can just put that sucker right in the films.
So I just kind of breezed by this. I wasn't planning on talking about it because it's not a big deal. But I was on Facebook and I got it suggests you like 1 million posts now. And I got a post from somebody and it was apparently Ed and Lorraine Warren's grandchild. And it was a picture of Ed Warren's grave. And his grave had, like, essentially what looked to me like a planter hanging off of it, like for like a hanging
Like a
plant.
dangling plant?
Yep.
Okay.
And there was just a Raggedy Ann doll in the planter. And the person was like, oh, I'm unhappy about this in whatever way. This is, I don't know, this is what my grandfather's legacy is. And then basically said, I'm paraphrasing. And by the way, I'm not happy that Tony Spera is touring Annabelle all over the country right now. I have nothing to do with him and yada, yada. And I was like, ooh.
Wow.
And that's it.
Infighting.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, while we're on that topic, there's something I forgot to mention last week.
Yeah.
In the upcoming Conjuring 4, Conjuring Last Rites, in the cast list is somebody playing Tony Spera.
Interesting.
He's going to be a character in the movie, and you know that in his head, that could be Phase 2 might, they're probably making reference to me.
Or, like, did he give
I'll be
them
the star.
access to something?
Right.
And in return, his likeness is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think this guy's an I mean, I think they were opportunists too, but
Movers
I
and
think this guy's an
shakers.
opportunist like nobody's business.
Oh, yeah. We from afar,
Yeah.
witnessed a Spera
Yes.
moment. We went to the Warrens paranormal thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on Patreon.
It's on Patreon somewhere. All right, listen. We're still on topic, but we got to talk about these dolls.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's take a quick commercial break.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna basically do this. I think we're gonna make this almost.
Take me window shopping.
We're gonna go window shopping.
Great. All right, Will, my money is burning a hole in my pocket.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Because I have a number of dolls that are available if you act now, Kristen. So let's start with Object A.
Okay.
I'm going to put this on the screen for everybody in the video version of our show right here. All right. This doll is titled Haunted Possessed Doll. Read description.
Not looking great.
I'd like to ask you to describe it if you wouldn't mind, Kristen,
Yeah,
for our listening audience.
This doll looks disgusting, but I also think that they go too far.
Yes.
Like, I think that part of what makes, again, to go back to Annabelle, the real Annabelle doll is just a plain ass Raggedy Ann or Andy doll. I can't remember what.
Her raggedy ass.
Raggedy ass Raggedy Ann. And it's just like, it's scary to me to think that just a child's normal
Plaything.
doll could be possessed.
Right.
You know what I mean? This doll looks like absolute hell. It's been through the ringer. And that makes it less scary to me because it's trying to be so scary. So
It's photographed to look scary.
one of the pictures.
Well, that's
is.
what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So it's a doll that has like dirty stuff all over it. It has stuff kind of pouring down from its hairline that looks like it could maybe be implied to be blood, like dried blood or something. It's like kind of brownish. And then there is black stuff all over its hands and feet, like all in the creases. Black stuff rubbed all around the eyes. I can't remember what these lines are between your
like
nose
laugh
and mouth.
lines?
No, those aren't laugh lines,
no.
but between your nose and mouth, whatever that is. And then it's wearing a white, baby doll dress that's like all dirty. It almost seems like oil stained or something. Its hair, a must mess.
Yeah.
And then its eyes are the real showcase. They look like they are clouded over and milky, but dark at the same time.
Yes.
So this thing looks like a demonic doll.
I looking at the hair, which has now been sort of like poofed up and teased up in a way, it looks like a dance mom to me. It looks like
It honestly looks like kind of like an 80s, an 80s older lady.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, meet Chimulk. Haunted baby doll. You can.
I never would have guessed.
You can.
Chimulk.
Do you want to do a quick high-low? How much do you think they're asking for? It's set as buy it now.
Chimulk.
Chamalk. Chimulk.
Okay, I was just thinking there was a U for the first vowel. Okay, Chimulk.
Buy it now pricing. It's not on an auction, but that means it is available right now. How much do you think
Great
they're asking
question.
for Chimulk?
God, I haven't looked at this market in forever, and I'm terrible at guessing prices anyway. I first thought $149.
Wow. I mean, listen, you're not far off in terms of what this market will often ask for.
Yeah.
Then this is a steal. Everybody act now. Chimulk can be yours for the low price of $50.
Not bad. Maybe I just need to lop the one off.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly. For a little bit of story, which is extensive. This is Chimulk. Her lifeless, cloudy gray eyes say everything. She has seen more than any doll should. Chamulk was given to me by my neighbor, a retired firefighter. He told me he found her in the wreckage of a house fire, deep in what used to be the bedroom of 4 young sisters. None of the children survived, but Chamulk was there. Now this is important. She was untouched. No burn marks, no soot. Just sitting there, watching.
What is all this crap all over her?
What's she covered in then? If
this is Chamulk untouched.
This is pure Chamulk.
This is 100% Chamulk, all on her own.
This is
undamaged.
pristine Chamulk.
There's no way.
Is that what we're saying? She's said to be hot to the touch when picked up, as if she'd absorbed the fire itself. That alone was enough to send chills down my spine.
Not if you're touching Chamulk, she'll warm you right up.
I'm passing her on. That's all I'll say. That's a repeated refrain in a lot of these where people are like, I can't get into it, but I've got to get rid of it. And I'm like, that might just be the exhaustion of writing like pretend ghost stories. Just be like,
I'm done.
I don't want to write this anymore, so I'm not at liberty to to tell you what Chamulk did to me, but it was pretty naughty.
I love the name Chamulk.
Chamulk.
I love it.
It says, please do not contact me after purchase. If anything strange happens, call your local fire station. And then a priest.
Oh,
you've been warned.
I hope no one did that.
I know. Well, Chamulk is sitting there just waiting for you. Let's go to doll number 2.
Hey, where is the Dybbuk box here that you bought for me?
What a remarkable question. Would you believe that I've lost complete
control
over where the Dybbuk box is? Sometimes it appears when I'm upstairs making cereal. Sometimes it's all of a sudden in the shower with me. It just can vanish. Yeah. I don't know. All of our Guide to the Unknowny stuff is in that cabinet, kind of unsorted. There's a Boo Buddy Jr., some of our ghost hunting stuff. I bet the Dybbuk box is there.
The Boo Buddy is squished under a cloche. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I keep it close.
Thought about it.
All right, let's move on.
Bill bought me a Dybbuk box from eBay years ago.
Is it the one that you just immediately opened?
Yeah.
That broke. That broke. Yeah,
okay,
that I accidentally shattered, and life hasn't been the same.
Okay.
I can't get into it. All right, let's move on to our next eligible bachelor.
Okay.
Wait. Ignore that. You weren't supposed to see that.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. You were supposed to see that.
Okay.
Apologies.
Wow, this is actually a troubling twosome.
Meet Florence and Bernard.
They look like they would be very nice, but I guess, like Annabelle, looks can be deceiving.
In this case, looks are exactly what you think they might be.
Really? They're fine?
This is unusual, Kristen. Haunted dolls, Florence and Bernard, married old couple, positive spirits, loving. Now, they
I kind of want Florence and Bernard, except it looks like they might be those kinds of dolls where they're made out of like pantyhose, and I don't like that.
I hate this kind of doll.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like the ears are just sort of like a balloon animal twist of whatever fabric the face is made out of too. Yeah, I don't like it. But you do have first dibs on this, Kristen, because we're not recording live today.
Right.
So the starting bid is $20. This bid ends on Saturday, which as the show drops is tomorrow.
Time.
So
That's right.
Zero bids right now, which is shocking
Yeah.
for Florence and Bernard. It is $30. Buy it now if you don't want to go through the hassle of fighting all the other bidders. This description starts with...
Think about it if it was a different kind of doll. I'm also not loving the look of Bernard's weird flattened left hand.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
what happened to your hand, Bernard?
The more I look, it's actually not the pantyhose material, but it definitely has the energy of that kind of pantyhose made doll.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his arm ends, like, his fingers are just, they don't have any stuffing in them. It looks weird.
And Florence is knitting, but she's sort of holding the knitting needles like they're huge garden shears.
Absolutely. Well, also, I was going to say she's holding them out in a cross almost as a protective move.
Oh.
So this could be adding a protective element to your home in
perhaps
a spiritual
to defeat
sense.
Chamulk.
Yeah.
If you got both. You could sort of position them against each other, like bookends. So this description starts, we are paranormal investigators and I am a witch.
Hell yeah.
We help haunted and spirited items find a good home. Meet Florence and Bernard. They met in school, and it was love at first sight. They are both 86 years old, but he is 4 months older than her. They got married when they were 19 and were married for 67 years. They love each other very deeply. They worked hard and made a good life together.
This is quite something.
This is so long. I'll just jump like vaguely to the middle.
Sure.
They also raised pigs and rabbits.
Oh my God.
Florence taught her girls how to be a homemaker. I'll jump again. They can help you as you raise your family, give you advice and support along the way.
Can you imagine sitting at the knee of Florence and Bernard for advice?
Won't you just please tell me how to handle my snot-nosed teenager? These kids are eating me alive, Florence. No, that's largely it. I picked them.
Is there anything about, besides their life story, about their haunting or like this?
Yeah, I was. The longer this went on, I was like,
what is
are we even sure that they're haunted? Because this is just now
right.
you're just telling the life story of a loving Midwestern couple.
Yeah, like good for them, but
we have seen their orbs. We have heard Florence humming and singing, and we have heard their footsteps in our home. They turn our lights on and off, open and shut doors, light up flashlights, and cat balls.
Cat balls.
Cat balls.
Oh, I guess cat toys that can light up or something.
Yeah, I
Maybe
guess.
with motion. They're lighting them up without them
Maybe
moving. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I've seen their apparition as well. They have communicated with us so far through dowsing rods, making noises, feelings, dreams, cold spots, pendulums, spirit boards, EVPs, flashlights, tarot cards. They are ready to find their new home. Can you help them?
Maybe Doris is actually holding dowsing rods and not knitting needles.
This is where the haunted doll game, I'm like, how lucky were Florence and Bernard to find a manufactured doll that is also an elderly couple that they could each inhabit.
Or did somebody make this intentionally for Florence and Bernard to inhabit?
Oh, you think this is what Florence and Bernard really looked like in life?
Yes, maybe. Maybe this was their wish.
How weird would that be if, like, you saw the ghost and it still is them dressed like this, like he's in like a colorful plaid shirt and overalls?
Well, you know, they say sometimes this works against what I was going to say. I was going to say sometimes ghosts take on a form that is familiar to us or whatever, but that would just be them.
They took on a form that's familiar to them.
Right.
Dolls that are shaped like themselves.
Right.
One curiosity about Florence, you'll note that her eyeballs are, one of them's inverted. So like the white of her eyes and then a black line in the middle is her right eye. But then the left eye is like, the eyeball appears to be black.
That is strange. I wonder if they just ran out of...
And her iris is white.
enough white fabric. And they're like, okay, I don't have enough for a full eye here. It's going to have to be... Or maybe that's how Florence's eyes were in life.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Who knows? All right, we're going to move on to our next option here. This is...
Ooh!
Yeah, this is sort of a classic in the haunted doll game. We're looking at a porcelain doll with no hair.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing.
Vintage haunted Walda bisque doll from the 1970s, 18 inches tall.
There's also a lot of asymmetry going on. She only has one hand. She has either eyeliner or eyelashes on one eye. There's only 1 foot visible.
Yeah, you're right.
What is she saying?
Interesting. Well, this is a starting bid at $17.99, and Walda could be yours.
Walda.
Bidding ends.
Just hit me, Walda.
Bidding.
That's a good name.
Bidding ends on Monday.
Okay,
and
there's
there's
time.
presently 0 bids.
Oh, Walda.
So,
hon.
the vintage haunted Walda bisque doll from the 1970s stands at 18 inches tall, adding a touch of nostalgia and mystery to any collection.
Yeah, I'll say.
This
Just
psychic
a normal doll collection and there's that. Yeah, you'd be like, what? Okay, so what's with this one?
I know. It's perfect for those interested in metaphysical items and the supernatural. It was gifted to this person by their aunt. It was found in a graveyard.
Hell yeah.
Walda.
Yeah, Walda. All right, so that kind of makes some sense. Walda sounds like she was exposed to the elements for a while.
Yes, right.
So that's maybe how her hair went. Although whatever. I was going to say her head is just so perfectly smooth.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I guess that the wig was just on with a weak adhesive. Didn't leave behind any residue.
It's interesting that he called it a wig. Is it a wig when it's doll hair?
Doesn't it feel
a doll is wearing a wig?
Doesn't it feel like she was wearing a wig and it was removed?
It does feel like she was wearing a wig. You're right. She looks like...
it's not like she had like sewn in hair or whatever of like a Barbie.
Right. She looks like Fester's girlfriend.
Oh, dementia. Yeah.
It means insanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, if you have deep pockets, our next few entrants may be for you.
Okay.
In addition to searching for haunted dolls that were like available now,
I
was curious. I sorted then by highest price.
Nice.
I wanted to see like what are people
top of the line.
What's the top of the line?
Yeah.
Or AKA, what are people posting?
Right.
In the hopes that like some eccentric billionaire is like, give me the most haunted doll.
Yeah.
The most haunted, the scariest doll.
Some sort of gold dipped doll.
Yeah, exactly.
For Trump to buy.
Let's see.
I wonder if we get a haunted doll in there, if it would help any. Okay.
No. I mean, Chucky went to the White House.
Oh, that's right.
You
Oh,
go
if only we
back.
could get that situation
If only.
going.
I know. Get some life to imitate art.
Yeah,
Work of art.
totally.
All right. So this is in my section that I call obscene pieces.
Okay. Yeah, what?
I've got a split screen here. On one half is what I think to be an AI
I would think.
image of
Yeah.
like a many-armed god. Mm-hmm. And then the actual thing that they're selling is on the right.
Yeah, what is this?
They do not resemble each other.
Not at all.
It's like a little wooden head that the person's actually selling. This is titled Haunted Sculpture Highest Shaitan Level Jinn, God King Lucifer, Destruction and Wishes.
Okay.
The asking price for this
Yeah.
is $188,888.
Oh, God.
The description is obscenely long, and I will not be reading it.
That's fine.
I'll give you a taste of like the sort of like,
Writing style.
yeah. Ibiza is one of my personal jinn, a shaitan level jinn, and the most powerful god one will ever encounter.
Okay.
Not so powerful that he can't get out of this doll head or whatever.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Ibiza is capable of granting millions of wishes, a god so rare and mighty that he has already made hundreds of people multimillionaires and billionaires through wealth wishes.
And also, like, why are you giving this away?
Yeah, exactly.
Or selling.
Why would you
Still.
ever sell
Yeah,
this
yeah,
for $188,888?
Yeah.
Well, we have to continue our tour. I've prepped too many dolls. Our next one is another high roller, but having said that, it still is like, it's like a tenth the cost of the
Yeah.
previous doll. Introducing Paihoon.
Oh, Paihoon.
Paihoon appears to be like a woven wicker
Yeah.
doll in like what do they call this in karate?
It's like wearing a napkin.
A karate gi?
I don't know.
It's dressed like it's in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
It's just like Ken from Street Fighter, if that means
Is it,
anything to
though,
anyone.
In Street Fighter, do they wear bucket hats? Because
Great
he
question.
has a wicker bucket hat as part of his head.
That is a
I
very
would
good
like
point.
it if they did. I have watched part of Cobra Kai.
Okay, well, look at you.
I haven't seen that.
So this is simply called
I don't
Haunted
think Sensei
Doll
Kree wears a bucket hat.
Sensei Kree. Wow.
I think that's someone's name.
Kristen. Mm-hmm. So this doll goes for a paltry compared to our last figure,
It's quite lightweight.
$20,000.
Oh my God.
20
So they must be saying this thing is haunted out the wazoo.
$1,000. This Paihoon ghost doll with spirit is a unique addition to any collection of science fiction and horror collectibles. Made in Thailand, this vintage item is a must-have for fans of the genre.
What genre? Haunted dolls?
Yeah, I guess. And then it says the ghost doll always walked around my house at night and made everyone in my house sick. Made us sick.
I think it's hard to get sick out of wicker, so
We were in hospital about a year with nothing better. I'm thinking that like this is translated in
yes.
some capacity, but does that mean
Yeah,
like we were in
that they're-
hospital and we never got better?
that's what it sounds like.
One thing's they're bones of a death person on the doll's feet.
Oh, okay. So there is a shot of looking at the bottom of the doll's feet. I mean, I can't say this looks like bones. You can see that like structurally there's something that is connecting the doll's feet to the rest of the wicker. It all looks like wood to me.
I'm pretty sure that is on the bottom of the doll's feet. I'm pretty sure that you're just seeing like
The piece,
the
yeah.
crosscut of a piece of wood with all these little wicker
Yeah.
woven bits around it.
Yeah, that's my sense.
I don't see any bone at all. Having said that, it could be yours if you have $20,000 you want to spend on this. Shockingly, it's still available.
Huh.
All right.
They're probably hoping that like a Zach Bagans type
That I think so.
is searching.
And what does it cost
know?
to just take a couple of pictures of some
Absolutely.
dopey thing and put it on eBay with a story?
Right.
You can just let this sit here until some eccentric weirdo comes
Why not?
along and goes like, yeah, I want this.
Absolutely.
Which is why our third most expensive haunted item on eBay costs still a lot,
Yeah.
but at least it's half of this.
Okay.
Welcome, Lucy. Haunted doll, active spirit, angry spirit, not for beginners, rare.
This ain't right.
This ain't right.
What I'm seeing ain't
No.
right. So this is a fabric doll. She has like white hair that's in pigtails. She's supposed to have bangs, sort of. She has big red lips, big eyelashes.
She's dressed like Dorothy.
Yeah, yep. And then she's got like a blue plaid dress. Yeah, she's totally dressed like Dorothy, blue plaid dress. But then, William, I can only assume that there's something to explain why this is the next view. Is there not?
I don't have an explanation.
Really? There's nothing in the story that justifies why the next shot is a weird upskirt of this doll's ass, essentially.
Fabric ass?
Yeah.
This fabric ass doll.
It's so weird that the next shot is just a shot from under the doll showing where its legs are buttoned onto its body, but it's from the back, so it feels like it's essentially its ass.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Lucy is a restless, angry spirit.
Well, maybe because you're taking pictures like this of her.
You leave Lucy alone.
Yeah.
She has shown myself and previous owners through dreams that she had been taken and brutally murdered.
Okay.
When she was just a young child, other than communicating through dreams, you will have bouts of bad luck, night terrors, see her shadow figure at night. Things will go missing and then show up in an obvious place. She has been known to throw things at men and cause physical symptoms like back pain and headache. I do not recommend this doll if you have health concerns. Who doesn't have health concerns?
Yeah, of course. I'm concerned.
Faint but audible bumps during the night. Lucy will be a winerific addition to your collection. Winerific? W-Y-N. This felt like some witchy thing that you might know.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Disclaimer, paranormal activity not guaranteed.
Of course.
You must be 18 years of age to purchase.
Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so that, again, $10,000.
Who? No.
Now I'm going to take you through,
No.
I'm going to take you through what led to my statistics now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am now going to show you dolls that have sold, because my next thought was looking
Great.
at dolls that are available.
Great idea.
You know, here, everything I just told you about, you can buy those dolls right now. As of this show dropping, those auctions are not done.
Yeah.
I don't think these things are going to move. You can probably go find them right away. I'll put links to them in the show notes.
Yeah.
Screw it. Scaryfun.fun.
Sure.
Buy some of these dolls if you got to have them. Now you can say they were featured on Guide to the Unknown. Or
Yeah,
something.
right.
But it really made me wonder, is any of this selling? Is any of this moving at all? Now, I sort of hinted at the top that there is a business here.
Yeah.
But let's take a look at what is actually being procured.
Yeah.
These next dolls have all been purchased.
Great. Oh, hey,
Yes.
that's Kristoff.
Yes.
Frozen.
That's correct. It
Okay.
kind of looks like an Artie Lang Kristoff.
Yeah, kind of. Yes.
Like there's something,
Something's...
he's not screen accurate.
No, definitely not. Something about the nose.
But even though this is a Kristoff from Frozen doll, this listing is called Haunted Doll Joseph.
Do you think they're afraid of saying Kristoff?
Maybe.
For legal reasons?
No, I don't think so. I think
Like
they're-
Disney?
I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
This feels like they just found a doll that their kid
They
had.
didn't, yeah.
And they were like, I don't know how to move this.
Yeah, Joseph.
I'll call it Joseph and sell it for $20.62, which is
Yeah.
what it went for. Attached to this doll is the spirit of Joseph. Joseph is a fairly strong presence, and I felt he would be best for somebody experienced from the get-go. When I received this vessel, his energy was quite stiff, if that makes sense.
They limbered him up.
They limbered up old Joseph. It felt as if his presence there was not much air. What?
Huh. Okay.
Some screwy there.
Yeah.
Joseph's vessel did not work when it first arrived, but now it will turn on by itself.
Okay.
But this doesn't appear to have any. This just looks like a stuffed animal.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I'm not sure how it can turn on or whatever. Anyway.
Are they talking about like metaphysically? Like, were they like, move, Joseph?
Oh, maybe.
Move.
Maybe.
And it wouldn't happen, but now, because she was like, we had to get him going.
Possibly. Yeah, you're right.
And now
maybe.
he'll move and groove.
So we get a little bit of backstory to Joseph, and one element of it stood out to me. So he died in the year 1849. He was 38 years old when he died. Joseph left behind his wife of 15 years and 2 young daughters. Joseph felt very guilty for leaving behind his family after his death, and he tells me they struggled financially after his passing. Joseph tells me that he worked a labor-intensive job and would be out of the house most of the day.
I mean, selling ice.
Yes, that's what stood out to me too. Yeah, he did work a labor-intensive job.
Absolutely.
Kristoff
That's
is an
heavy.
ice salesman.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a haunted. So this can't be any older than what was Frozen, 2009?
Yeah.
And
I
it's
guess,
haunted
I
by
don't
a doll of a man, or haunted by a man who died in 1849, who picked
know.
this.
So the ghost is old, but
the ghost is old. The
vessel
doll is new. It's just
not.
weird to see a new
Yeah, it is.
doll.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
strange.
totally.
But again, that's
But
sold
if
for
I'm
$20.
saying if I'm saying I find a normal doll that a child would play with
True.
more appealing.
This is the modern day equivalent of a Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, totally.
Essentially, right? It's a commercially produced doll.
Joseph is my Annabelle. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't sound very menacing. He sounds okay.
He sounds all right to me.
For $20.99, you could do worse.
Can I tell you can we have a quick digression where I can tell you my Kristoff theory?
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time thinking about the world of Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe loves Frozen. And it always stands out to me anytime all these spin-offs tell the story of these characters or whatever, the first 5 minutes of Frozen is Kristoff as a young boy.
Yeah.
And he stumbles across magical trolls. And he's like watching what's going on. And then one of them goes, oh, you're so cute. I'm going to keep you.
Yeah.
And now he's raised by trolls.
Right.
Kristoff, the human adult man, flash forward, has been raised by trolls his whole life. Where's his family?
Yeah.
The trolls just kept him? What's going on? And there are all these spin-off stories about like Kristoff doesn't know when his birthday is. Mm-hmm. The trolls don't celebrate birthdays annually. They like celebrate birthdays like every 20 years or something like that. You know, it's like his thing, he's all screwed up.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who his family was. I'm like, yeah, he was kidnapped by trolls. But then he'll sometimes say like, I didn't have a family. They took me in. I'm like, well, that's not quite what was portrayed. But anyway, I have a theory. Because right now they're making Frozen 3, I think, and 4 together.
Yes.
And I think it's so obvious that you explain where this guy came from.
Yeah.
I think they're going to explain Kristoff's backstory, and I bet it's going to be revealed that he is the son of, because he's just like a humble ice harvester, whereas Anna is like royalty, his wife. It's going to be explained that his mother and father were a king and queen. That they were the king and queen of Arendelle.
Yeah.
And Anna is going to find out that she accidentally married her own brother.
Wow.
No one knows where Kristoff came from.
Brave territory.
He's their brother. And love interest. And that's going to be revealed in Frozen 3.
Look, that kind of storyline is very hot right now. We're coming off of White Lotus season 3.
Absolutely. It's right there.
I feel like it makes total sense, and I think you're right.
It's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's move on to our next.
Wait, do you really think it could be about Kristoff, though?
I mean,
it could be.
I think there's reason to justify why this guy didn't have a family and was abducted by trolls. Yes.
But maybe it could be the quest for Kristoff.
Yeah, it could be.
3, the quest for Kristoff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And listen, these have always been sort of stories that buck the norm. If you have him be the damsel in distress, so to speak.
Right.
We could also play into that. It could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Why not?
I like that idea. And then that's lots of troll action. I like trolls.
Yep. And if he has feelings of
And
inadequacy.
they're fun in the movie.
Because he's essentially Anna becomes the queen.
Right.
If he has feelings of inadequacy, maybe we learn his backstory and he's like, oh, I'm not nobody.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I do deserve this or something, even though that's the wrong lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
But
maybe
like,
not bad.
yeah, whatever.
But yes.
All right.
I too am involved in Frozen because of Zoe.
Of course. All right. This thing sold. Do you want to guess?
Will just put something on the screen that is so strange. This is so odd. It kind of looks like a porcelain doll up top. It's like business on the top, party downstairs.
Okay.
It's like a porcelain doll up top and then just like lumpy potato
Sure.
below.
Sure.
So like, yes, porcelain doll up top and then like from mid torso down, it's stuffed. But when I say stuffed, it's kind of like not articulated, but like realistic on the top. And then just a triangular torso and just these little nubs of legs hanging down. So it's very odd looking.
So here's the title of this one. Haunted Doll Katrinka, Russian Demon Conduit, Double Amputee.
Oh, okay.
Active.
Okay.
Diabolical.
Okay. All right.
Now this,
well, all right. That makes more sense why it looks this way then.
This sold.
Okay.
Now, I wish I could play high-low. This was confusing to me. It was originally listed for $500. Buy it now.
Yeah.
But you can, all that it'll show, it crosses out the $500 and just says that an offer was accepted.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what, somebody offered less than $500 and the seller agreed. I don't know that amount.
Sure.
But this seems to be decently up there. I can't imagine that they were like, I'll give you $20.
Totally.
I think this is still being sold for a few $100s.
Definitely.
Katrinka. When I acquired Katrinka from a Russian medium who had immigrated to the U.S. around 1995, I was unprepared for the havoc she would wreak on my life. I consider myself to be experienced with occult objects, especially those possessed by spirits and demons, and have had much success binding these entities. However, I let my ego get the best of me. It nearly cost me my life. Shortly after bringing her home, Katrinka, I felt a sense of unease in my mind. I thought it would pass after she settled in, but things got worse. It began with dreams where I believed I existed between worlds or dimensions. It's hard to express.
I can't stop looking at Katrinka's eyes. I think something's happening here. I'm just getting lost in her face on the screen.
I can't stop looking at Katrinka's teeth.
Yeah.
She's got two like little baby buck teeth.
Right.
Peeking out of her little open mouth.
Something's going on.
I was going to leap ahead because, believe it or not, it's also very long.
Yeah.
Time became meaningless. Things later changed between us. I think that...
her and Katrinka?
I sensed darkness where there had been no darkness. Evil and hate intruded as well. I was trapped in my mind with a demon who wanted to destroy my sanity and my body. At some time, friends came over to check on me. They found me in the bathtub, naked, with a mattress over me. I was in the fetal position and kept repeating, "The darkness is here. The darkness is here. Chernabog, Chernabog, Chernabog."
So what is that backwards?
I don't know what. Oh, Gobun.
Oh, nothing.
Gobunrek.
Okay. I'll take things that never happened for 500.
If friends came over and found me in the bathtub, naked. Have you ever gone to someone's house, like knocked on the door, no one answers, and then you go, "We better go in and just poke around and see if they're in there"?
I guess if you thought they could be in danger, I guess I would do that. Chernabog.
Chernabog.
Do they explain what that means or anything?
Let's find out. There were gouges around my eyes that had scabbed over. My mouth was ripped open with a black tongue hanging out. Black tongue, not necessarily their own.
And their mouth was ripped open?
This
is quite something.
I was filthy and had soiled myself. Like, come on.
Yeah, okay.
Man, like, why are you posting this on eBay?
Anything for a buck.
I had soiled myself.
It worked.
Free shipping.
It worked. It worked. They sold Katrinka.
Katrinka moved. You're right. After I recovered somewhat, I looked around the house. I saw Katrinka sitting on my bed as if nothing had happened.
Yeah, because nothing didn't happen to this doll.
That's what everything else in the house did as well.
Yeah, totally.
All kinds of things were sitting around my house as if nothing happened.
Yeah, definitely.
That Boo Buddy Jr. is under that cloche.
Smushed. Like nothing happened.
I had food poisoning last week, and that Boo Buddy acted like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, so not knowing what else to do, my friend took her to her parents' house and placed her in their concrete storm cellar. This is where she remains. I will give some backstory on Katrinka that I learned through the medium I acquired her from, and from personal research I did after recovering from my ordeal. You probably noticed that Katrinka is a double amputee. This will be explained.
Okay.
Olga Nizhinskaya began ballet training at a very young age. Oh, come on. All right, I'm going to fast forward again.
It's fine.
Anna told her to repeat singing folk songs, and each night before going to bed, repeat the name Chernabog 3 times to the doll.
Okay.
According to Pavlova, these were the instructions Rasputin said must be followed if one wants to receive blessings. To Pavlova, it was just a fun game, as she believed Rasputin to be a charlatan and a fraud.
What the hell's going on here?
I don't know.
How we get
this
to
is
Rasputin?
so complicated. On opening night, Olga was transcendent. She was perfection up until the last lift. As her partner brought her to the floor, there was a loud cracking sound. Her ankles broke, then her shins and knees. Her legs crumpled. Olga was lying helpless on the stage. She was taken to the hospital where her legs were amputated. After recovering physically, she was moved to an asylum for the mentally deranged.
Okay.
All right. She kept repeating Chernabog over and over again. Those are the last words she ever spoke.
Okay.
What happened to her after that remains unknown. But this description keeps going on.
Yeah, my God.
Keeps going on.
All right. So her spirit is in this doll and transferred the word Chernabog to our author.
Yes, exactly. Our author was at risk of becoming the next double amputee doll.
Yeah.
So Katrinka moved. Next doll.
Yeah. Ooh.
I know.
Purple Teletubby.
It's a purple Teletubby. I believe this to be Tinky Winky.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Haunted doll, active disembodied spirit, negative. it sold for $50. Makes the EMF monitor go crazy.
Wait, disembodied spirit negative?
No, I think it's saying it's a negative spirit. Like it's an evil spirit.
Oh, I gotcha. Hey, do you remember that I had, what's it called? Teletubbies backpack that I drew goth makeup on all the Teletubbies?
Good God. Kind of.
That's all.
It's embarrassing.
I know.
Shouldn't say those things.
Not too late.
Take that to the grave. Screw Tinky Winky. I'm going to show you the last doll that I found literally like minutes before we started recording.
Great.
And pounced on. This is the final doll that I've got for you.
Ooh, talk about goth makeup. Hello, black lip liner. So this is a ceramic old lady doll with gray yarn hair, a weird black lip liner mouth, which is incongruous with everything else, little glasses. She's got granny vibes.
Total granny vibes, right?
Yep.
Don't be lured in by her sweet facade.
Oh, no.
Titled, Haunted Doll, Grandma Ruth Ghost Vessel. Lured kids to their death. Oh, no. Died in jail.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. Yikes.
So she faced judgment in life.
Yeah.
But beyond the grave, she lives in this doll.
Ah.
This thing sold for $20.99.
Nice.
This Ouija session is among my most disturbing. The spirit identified itself as Grandma Ruth and offered the words kiddos and basement. My intuitive free writing told a story of an innocent-looking grandma who used her trustworthy vibe to reel in children. Kittens and cookies were the lure into a trap that ended in a dark, dusty basement dungeon.
Oh, no.
Once inside, unspeakable acts occurred, one child at a time. When her deeds were...
Blair Witch.
Yeah. The Blair Ruth.
Yeah.
When her deeds were discovered by law enforcement, 12 tiny skeletons were exhumed from the basement tomb. Grandma Ruth lived out her final days in prison, where she made certain, I knew, she relived each child encounter over and over in her mind. This doll was left at a shrine outside the prison that was created for Grandma Ruth by a small group of fans who attended her execution. She inhabited the doll, which found its way to a few different donation centers and thrift stores. When I saw the doll for sale, it just lit up with supernatural energy.
Look at those cheeks, those dimples. We can't trust them.
Her most frequent trick is to change and distort her face.
Okay.
She also appears as a dark apparition lurking in the shadows. Her energy increases when her name is spoken. Cackling laughter has been heard. Doll moves on its own. Beware, this is a dark spirit. Definitely not recommended for a home with children.
Yeah, I would think not.
No. Now, this seller also sells like a ton of dolls. Like they have a whole disclaimer where it's like, for entertainment, they're like, all my dolls, we go through a whole battery of tests. Whatever.
That is very much a thing. Like if you go to, one haunted doll and then you click on the seller, they've got like a million haunted dolls. Remember that was the thing with the Dybbuk boxes too. You go and they've got like all kinds of Dybbuk boxes. Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? So I'll conclude in total with my statistics, Kristen. My statistics. I literally looked at every sold haunted item for the past 7 days.
Yeah.
On average, there are 34 haunted items sold each day.
Excellent.
On eBay. The grand total of items of money earned through those sales from 1 week is $13,000.
Nice.
In 1 week
Yeah.
of haunted items being sold.
Yeah.
The average sale price per doll is around $56. So some high, some low. The highest thing that I saw sold, confirmed sold, was for $300.
Yeah.
The smallest price was for $5.50. 236 sales in total across those 7 days. So there you go. And then projecting of like a year of this industry once again, that gets to $684,000.
Man, not bad.
Not bad to just go find a doll, write up some story, tell people that it may not be haunted at the end.
Yes.
and then just
see what happens.
Sit and see if it moves. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, really nothing.
We should really be making our own haunted dolls.
Yeah. No,
I'm a haunted doll salesman.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Plus then you have a cool job.
Do you think so?
Well.
I'm a haunted doll salesman.
Right.
You are?
Oh.
Well, I aspire to be.
I try to be.
I hope so.
Yeah.
What I did, actually, now that I say that, I did not look at like how many new listings go up versus those sales numbers.
Right.
Like,
Right. The yield.
is this like, is it like shooting fish in a barrel to get these sales, or is
it is?
Yeah. And what makes something move and not something else? I can't tell.
Yeah, I don't know, but
But there you go. Those are some things on the market, some of which are available right now. Buyer beware.
Yes. Oh, certainly. This
Caveat
was all
emptor.
for entertainment purposes, of
course.
Of course. All right, so I'm going to tell you about a purchase that somebody made that caused them much trouble once they got it home.
Oh, shit. So this could be what happens to people out there if they bought one of these dolls?
That's the aftermath.
Oh, shit.
Or this is the aftermath.
Oh, shit.
But first, let me tell you about another most dubious purchase that could bring much mayhem to your life, of the fun variety.
Fun mayhem.
This is going to patreon.com/GTTUpod and joining us over there as a way to donate to the show. And thank you so much for everybody who does that.
Thank you all.
In return, you get access to our second weekly podcast, The Netherworld Dispatch. And you can get access to it every single week if you join us at the Demon tier. And you can get access at different intervals with our other tiers. You can just kind of click around, choose what works for you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the reason.
I thought you were going to keep going for some reason. Our most recent episode is 215, titled Eggs, Eyes, Owls.
Yes.
Kristen and I played some horror video games. We each sort of like showed each other something that we enjoy. Kristen showed me Hello Kitty.
Adventure Island.
Yep. I showed Kristen Dedius. And then together we collaborated on a game that neither of us had ever seen before called Dinner with an Owl.
Yeah.
It was like a point and click, like weird adventure-y.
Yeah, it was like kind of what do you call it? A visual novel?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It was
Beat the whole
super
thing.
Cool. Yeah,
It
it was
was
super short. Yeah.
Funny, but interesting,
Yep.
spooky, little Twin Peaksy.
Yep.
Very, very fun. So go check that out. That's sitting there waiting for you right this second on patreon.com/GTTUpod.
Yep. And if you join, you can also get ad-free episodes of Guides to the Unknown. You don't have to fast forward through any of this kind of stuff anymore. We also have a Discord, movie commentaries, all kinds of stuff over there.
It's all waiting for you. Come on now.
Come on.
We also love reading reviews. I've got a lovely review for us here from Emma0313 titled, I Laugh So Hard. These siblings make me laugh so hard. See?
Yeah.
You see? I listen to them at the end of the day to relax and laugh my worries away. Love their chemistry, and when they make fun of each other, kills me. I also was obsessed with American dolls like Kristen growing up. How coincidental.
yeah.
I did not pick this specifically for the show. This was just the
amazing.
next review, and it's about American Girl dolls.
Yeah.
Dressing Laura Ingalls Wilder as a child.
Oh, awesome. Probably dressing like Laura.
Dressing
Ingalls
up
Wilder.
as yeah. I dressed up as Laura Ingalls Wilder as a child and relate to their nerdy personalities with childhood.
Awesome.
It's like hanging with two siblings who get me. Keep it up. You make people's days better.
Oh,
5
that's
stars.
awesome. I love that. I also love Little House on the Prairie, so I totally get that. The books, I've never seen the show. Although Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was on the show, so I really should take a dip.
Kyle Richards from Halloween?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Kyle and Kim, her sister, were on it.
Interesting.
If I remember correctly. Anyway, thank you so much for that review. That's so sweet. What a fun thing.
I also have a negative review.
Oh,
I know you don't like it when I read these, but I'm about to.
Oh.
I'm going to read it, and you're going to really suffer.
Oh, no.
This is the kind of negative review that I love to see, quite frankly. It's a mistake, I think.
Okay.
This is from Not Here Too.
Okay.
It's just titled Spelling.
Okay.
It says, please check the spelling of names you use. This is an amazing woman who definitely deserves credit. Catherine Tucker Wyndham.
Oh, I remember this.
Remember this?
Yes.
This is like a thorn in my side. They gave us 3 stars. We didn't spell anything wrong.
Yeah, I remember researching this and we figured it out. If I remember correctly, it was that the link to one of our sources was misspelled.
Someone else spelled Catherine Tucker Wyndham's name wrong.
Yeah, I don't even remember what this was about.
And then someone listening to our show gave us a bad review as if we did that.
Right. Yeah, we don't usually spell out names on the show.
No, we're just talking.
Yeah.
So this just goes to show that all the positive comments are correct.
Right.
And any negative critiques
We
of
can
our
just
behavior
discount those.
are purely mistakes on their part.
Yeah.
We're infallible, bro.
Absolutely.
Up top.
Oh, yeah. Put her there.
Hell yeah. Anyway, if you want to
yeah,
leave
I
us a
remember
review,
that.
we could help offset shit like that. 3 stars for something we didn't do. Come on now, won't you? Hey.
Won't you, hey?
Come on. Apple Podcasts, you
funny.
can type up a review. We would greatly appreciate it. On Spotify, you can leave stars. We're technically on like Amazon, I guess. Or no, we're like on Audible. You can
Yeah.
like leave us an Audible review.
Really, wherever you listen, if you could leave us a review, that would be great.
Spudniks, Rollback,
Probably.
Tatercast.
Tatercast.
Wave Life Tatercast. We're
Yeah.
tight on Tatercast.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all so much for your support.
Yes.
We greatly appreciate you all. And thank you again to Emmy for that wonderful
Yeah.
review, Emmy0313.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, so I want to hear what could happen to people if they bought one of these goddamn dolls, Kristen. Why are you wasting my time?
I know, I'm so sorry. I want to get to it, but first, a
Okay.
commercial break.
Well, that's worth it.
All right, Will, here's the thing. I have 2 stories. We have time for one. One is about a doll, and one is about a portrait. The portrait's the better story.
Oh,
quite
then do
frankly.
portrait,
Okay,
yeah.
it breaks format.
I don't
with the
care.
Dolls,
I don't
but
care. There are also
we'll
haunted things that
save-
aren't dolls.
They're both good, honestly, but we'll save the haunted doll story for one of our unused material episodes.
By all means.
Okay, so this took place in the UK, and there was a gal named Zoe Elliott Brown who bought a $25 portrait at a thrift shop, which was a picture of a young girl with a brown bob wearing a red dress staring out at the viewer, even though the reporting said that it was staring into the distance. But I feel like she's making eye contact.
Okay.
Now, I really, really enjoy the picture that is accompanying like everything that I saw. Every article about this story,
Come on.
I know, is a picture of the actual portrait.
This ain't right.
I know. It's a picture of the actual portrait, but then
This
the
ain't
owner, Zoe, standing next to it, pointing down to it, being like, like unhappy.
I
Now,
want to
she
be
did-
nice. I don't want to say anything wrong, but like,
Yeah.
she, like, why?
I know. There's a lot of questions.
If the point is that the picture is the trouble, just show a photograph of the framed picture.
Yeah.
To show a human being
They did that too.
looking like they have like a little tummy trouble, sort of gesturing down at it,
Yeah.
is so odd.
It's such a strange picture, and
That's what done it.
it seems like I don't know how this worked exactly. It seems to me like maybe Zoe Elliott Brown licensed a set of pictures out to multiple news outlets, including this picture, because on, I don't know, The Sun, on the New York Post, whatever, this picture is there. Constantly, I'm being assaulted with this picture.
That is so strange.
It's so weird. So I think that maybe she, I don't know, she had like a press packet or something that she's sending out, because this gal was making the rounds. She's on morning shows talking about
Really?
this. She was going off about this haunted portrait, and this picture, there'll be a link in the show notes, which I find incredibly odd, is included all over the place. And yeah, it's just her looking in distress with the portrait, the haunted portrait on the ground. Her like kind of, when you're standing and you want to reach something and it's like, for some reason, you're not bending your knees. She's doing that. She's like reaching to the side down
Yes,
a little bit.
you're right.
And looking pained. And the pain is, I think, trying to convey her experience with the portrait. But it could also be like, ouch, why am I gesturing like this?
If I only bent my knees, I
Yeah.
might feel a little more comfortable.
Or brought this up.
Well, but also,
Go ahead.
well, I
What?
shouldn't say some of the things I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yep.
make judgment calls about a person based
Yeah.
on a picture, but
Yep, sure. Yes.
okay, all right, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
We're on
I'm
the
going to
same
bite my
page.
tongue on a few
But
things. It's just an odd choice for you to be in your own photo of your haunted object, looking like you're in some sort of gastrointestinal distress.
She looks, the pain that she, I think, is trying
Shouldn't you
to.
be on a toilet right now?
If you were just looking at this divorce of anything else, you could say tummy ache.
That was a friend's reference. I
Yeah.
don't want to make any other.
Yes, that would. Yes,
I don't want to make any other observations about the human.
Of course not. This is an odd story. So this portrait was apparently dropped off at a thrift shop for ruining its previous owners' lives. And there was a note on it at the thrift shop that said that it was possibly cursed. And it ended up not being so hot in Zoe's own life.
Okay.
At least at first. Things really turn around for Zoe by the end of this story. So she bought it.
Is this Zoe Deschanel?
No, it's Zoe Elliott Brown.
Okay.
She bought it and she said that while she was in the store shopping with her mom, Jane Elliott Brown, I'm just going to refer to them as Zoe and Jane, it transfixed her mother and that she was obsessed with it. And this is a quote. "I've never seen my mom want something so much. She was fascinated by it, but not in like a positive way. She was weirdly protective over it. She was continually staring at it. She was running her fingers over its cheekbones. She polished it, even though it didn't need polishing." So her mom's like caressing this photo.
Like
Wow.
Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters 2 staring at Vigo. He gets kind of like, hooked in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. So they bought it, but once they bought it and brought it home, Jane, the mom's health took a turn for the worse. She started feeling weak. She was having hot flashes, and she even collapsed one day.
Oh, no.
And there's kind of a long, convoluted thing about how she collapsed, and they were going to call the ambulance, but then they decided not to. She rallied and just, I don't know, it's just like all weird. And Zoe was weirded out one morning to wake up and find her mom caressing the cheeks of the girl in the portrait in the midst of all these health problems.
Oh.
So things are weird at home.
Very strange.
So Jane, I did for this kind of short, I would think, throwaway story. It was in the New York Post, but I was like, there's got to be more to this. What the hell's going on? So I was like going deep. Like I said, I found out they were on morning shows, all this stuff. I was like, does Jane have any comment on why she's continually caressing this portrait? And I did end up finding something, thank God. Jane said that she felt compelled to try to cheer the girl up by stroking her cheek, and she does the same with pictures of her own mother, which I actually think is kind of sweet. There was some sort of quote where she said that she has pictures of her mom in her home, and she'll just walk by and just give her mom's cheek a little stroke.
That is kind of sweet,
which is sweet. And she said that the girl in the portrait looked sad, and she was just trying to cheer her up a bit. So it could be, one angle of it is she's transfixed by it. She's obsessed with it. She's polishing it when it doesn't need polishing. She keeps stroking the girl's cheeks. But Jane says she's just giving her a little nickname.
Yeah, it might just be a little eccentric kind of thing that she does.
Yeah,
all right.
Could be. Less sweet are the 3 nights in a row that Jane heard tapping on her door in the middle of the night.
Oh.
Once this portrait came home. And their dog, Scylla, kept growling at the painting. Once they brought it home. Which I think is kind of awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
So Zoe and her partner, Ben, this is the daughter, also experienced something strange and scary around this time. So this is really unrelated, but because it was something weird and kind of like paranormal potentially, and they're having all these paranormal happenings around the painting at home around this time, they're like, well, is this linked or whatever? So this is something I was like, is this a British thing, or is this just something that I haven't done? They were out to watch a lightning storm.
You know what? I like that.
I do
sometimes if it rains, Al and I will go sit on the porch.
I haven't gone like to take a walk to watch a lightning storm. I would be afraid it would just start raining, and then I'm like so far away from the house.
Yeah, I'll be at the house. I'll just be like under the front awning.
No, they said they were about 3 miles away from the house to go watch a lightning storm.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't gather the distance. Yeah,
right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't say it yet. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love thunder and lightning, and I was like, is this something I should be doing? To be continued. When all of a sudden they said a big black shadowy figure appeared before them. And then when they started running, it chased them.
No.
Now, presumably it must have dissipated because they're still with us and everything.
Right.
But they felt like it was related to all the weird stuff going on. So Zoe decided that it was time to get rid of the portrait and dropped it back off at the thrift store. And when she got there, she saw that there was a screw in her brand new tire. Could some force have been trying to keep her from returning the painting? Tried to give her a flat tire, a flatty, and failed.
But it didn't
because
work?
She made it. It didn't work. Look, just like we try our best sometimes, and sometimes we don't persevere despite our best efforts, maybe it's the same for the spirit realm.
That's the kind of thing, though, where it's like, is there anything that you can't attribute to the ghost?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
like I tripped. Did it put that rock in my way
Yeah.
to try and make me fall.
Right.
Or to just happen.
Totally.
Right.
Perhaps that same force was responsible for her later returning to the thrift shop and rebuying it.
What?
She said she didn't want someone to see it in the shop with its sign that said, "She's back. Sold twice and returned twice. Are you brave enough?" Because that's what they put
Oh,
in the
well, that's smart.
Yeah. And she was afraid that somebody was going to see that at the thrift store and buy it as a joke. And then she was going to like suffer some sort of like paranormal consequences, because she was like, what if they like burn it or something and I'm the last owner of it, like the last rightful owner, and then like bad stuff happens to me, is what she said.
Okay.
I know, whatever. And so she bought it back because she was like, well, at least I can deal with this properly. I don't want to leave anything to chance by having somebody else buy it. And look, I don't know.
I don't think there's a precedent for that.
No, there
for like somebody bought it after me, but I'm the rightful owner, even though they purchased
I completely
it.
agree. I was like, well, if they bought it, on their head it hangs, I would think.
How in the hole are you on this painting now then? Because you got to assume that she bought it back the second time for more.
Right. Totally. I don't know.
How brilliant of the shop to be like, bought twice, returned twice. Like, that's cool. That's great
marketing.
salesmanship. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guess what? She ends up coming out on top big time, because this happened in this was all in 2023. The final word on it, when this was originally a story, when she's making the rounds about how she bought this cursed painting, she brought it back, she's not sure what to do, was that she placed it in a box with some sage, and she wanted to contact a professional who could lift the curse, make sure that like she's doing everything by the books, not leaving it to chance with somebody who could buy it in a jokey way at the thrift store. And that was how it was left. Fast forward to a few months, seems like she decided to scrap that idea, and she sold the painting that she had bought for $25 originally on eBay for $2,000.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So she came out on top.
Absolutely. Very good.
Yep.
Good for you.
Now this is converting to, American money, but I'll just leave it. New York Post converted it for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah. I guess she's not too worried about the next owner.
Yeah, apparently not.
Yeah.
So that's
that much money.
The worst thing that happened was a screw in the tire.
Yeah, well, and her mom having like fainting spells or whatever, but who knows?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So how cursed is it? But you said that she like made the rounds with the story?
Yeah.
So
it was in like a ton of publications. Of course, one publication could pick it up. All right, could get the story, and then a bunch of others pick it up or whatever. But she was on like morning shows and stuff.
After having sold it for $2,000?
The ones that I saw were her talking about it initially, and then it was like follow-ups. So no, I think she was first talking about it as like, I bought a cursed painting.
So it gained notoriety through being on morning shows, and that's probably what helped it sell for $2,000.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, what a weird.
I know.
I'm like just trying to think of like the marketplace and what gives it value. I think more than the story of the item itself is that it's been on TV a bunch.
I guess
stuff,
so.
Right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't imagine that she was like a big famous sensation or anything, but like I was surprised to see that she was on TV talking about it.
So if you buy a cursed item, you could. How many times over do you get your money back from that?
Yeah, I guess
400. I don't know. I can't do the math.
I have no idea, but
10 times 4, 40, 80 times your money back or something like that. Whatever.
Sure.
That's
not terrible.
It's like not the right lesson or something somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many people are not making any money
Right.
off of this?
Yeah.
Fascinating, Kristen.
Totally.
Fascinating.
And actually, I will leave us with one teeny, weeny little shorty.
Yes, please.
About, have you ever heard of Moldavite, the crystal?
Moldavite. I think Superman was looking for that. Doesn't sound real.
Well, maybe because it's from a meteor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So actually, maybe Superman was looking for Moldavite. So this is going back even further in time to 2021. And I actually vaguely remember this being a thing. It probably is still a thing. So there is this crystal called Moldavite that people say it's like, I really don't get crystals. I actually love crystals, but not in a spiritual way. I kind of wish I like felt that way. It seems nice, but I think crystals are very cool and beautiful. But I'm aware that people will talk about this crystal called moldavite and be like, it's very powerful. It's an intense crystal or whatever. Because it was formed as a result of a meteor impact. So people really like the idea that it's from like out of this world. You know what I mean?
It's formed from a meteor impact?
Yeah, I don't
Doesn't
totally
that imply
understand.
that like
It's formed as the result of meteor impact in the Czech Republic.
okay.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe the
Sounds
heat
like it's
of the
part
meteor. I
and part Earth or something.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know if it was like the heat of it did something that formed crystals. I'm
Yeah.
not really too sure,
Right.
but I know that moldavite is kind of a thing. It's this green crystal, but there was apparently a big boom on TikTok for a while for teens to go on and talk about how getting moldavite ruined their lives, which is kind of amazing. So they would go on and be like, guys, I just got this moldavite necklace yesterday and my boyfriend dumped me today. Oh my God, just be careful when you're getting this. Which is really funny. They'd say their boyfriend dumped them, they totaled their car, etc. And they're like, so really people say it, but don't mess around with moldavite if you're not ready for it or whatever.
That's awesome.
And the author of this Vice article that I found about it, Gita Jackson, notes, quote, if I were 16, I would not be able to resist buying a cursed crystal and then pretending it ruined my life. And
Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yep. That's outstanding. Moldavite.
Yeah.
It's like the grimace shake,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. Where's that been?
I don't know. Does that come every year like the Shamrock
No,
Shake
it
or
hasn't.
anything?
It hasn't been back as far as I know. The grimace shake.
I wonder if that's a one and done.
What other funny things are modern kids doing about curses on TikTok? I want to see this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll look at Moldavite TikTok.
Yeah. There's another. I shouldn't even start because I don't know. People are gonna yell at their phones or whatever. There's another crystal that's supposed to be very. It's like out of this world. It's also green. It starts with an M. Oh God, what is it? Hang on.
Know.
Powerful green crystal.
Powerful.
I wonder if it's gonna happen.
I bet it's gonna be like the number one result.
You know what? I think I'm just thinking of malachite, which is a green crystal. I think I'm thinking of moldavite and all the lore around moldavite. So anyway,
I've never heard of that in all my days.
Yeah.
Oh, careful.
No, people are like moldavite is like
don't get any moldavite.
Serious.
It sounds like kryptonite.
Yeah, it does.
Green crystal.
It does.
Well, there you go, everybody.
Yeah.
Now you know what to get and what not to buy.
Yes. And look, there's some actionable items in this episode.
There are. Some of them are available,
could.
and I can only assume will remain so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if somebody gets a moldavite necklace, gets one of these little dolls, and things really start kicking up?
I put moldavite in my haunted doll. Yeah. My house exploded.
Right. Just be careful out there.
Yeah, I got to be careful. That moldavite.
Yeah. Oh, you know what teens are getting? Labubu. You know about Labubu?
No. What is that?
Boo-boo.
Lil Boo Boo or
Labubu.
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 It's, I don't know if teens actually are getting it. I'm not really sure. Labubus are these like expensive little like ugly monster stuffed dolls that you get, I think primarily as like a bag charm. And there's this kind of like hierarchy of like getting a real Labubu, or if you get a fake Labubu, you're like a loser, and that's called a Lafufu. So I was singing to Ryan the other day, like Labubu, Lafufu, Labubu. Let's call the whole thing off. So I know what they're doing.
You want Labubu, but you got Lafufu. What an interesting figure you are. I was going to ask, like, how do you know what teenagers are doing? But then you're singing the oldest shit. Like, what a weird dichotomy you
Mom
are.
also heard me yelling about Yul Brynner.
You'll never be half the man Yul Brynner was. What were you yelling at your husband about? Yul Brynner.
I honestly,
Mount Baldy.
I don't.
Mount Baldy. What Yul Brynner's wife did on their wedding night. That's my favorite Karnak bit. We're going to roll through old shit, Chrissy.
Please. Let's not act like you're not on the same wavelength. I don't remember what I said exactly, but we were watching that show Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. And I think I remember. Well, I don't want to be mean, but so they let's just say they had a band on called Yule, and I was comparing them to Yul Brynner.
They're named after Yul Brynner.
Unfavorably, I was.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, who could stack up against Yul Brynner?
Yeah. So that's why I was yelling.
Yelling.
All right, I'll just say, I mean, I'm sure the fans of Yule will forgive me. They're hyping this band like crazy. Like in the beginning, he's like, and we're going to have Yule later. Yule. Like we're all loving Yule. Even Richard Kind is like, oh, I love them. They're so amazing or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Like I wasn't thinking anything of it. I was like, okay, so there's a band called
Richard
Yule.
Kind, the guy who had turkey for lunch. And this is your example of like everyone loves Yule because Richard Kind loves them.
Well, they're just talking about
even Richard Kind, and it's so hard to get on his radar.
John Mulaney is like hyping this band Yule like crazy, and Richard Kind is also like, oh, they're incredible or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, so great. There's gonna be a band called Yule later that they love, great. And then John Mulaney comes out again to introduce him. He's like, they've just been bringing us so much joy here at the show all week. Here's Yule, and then look, it's me. I'm old. Whatever. This band comes out. I was like, what is this? This is terrible. Like, is this like a joke? What?
Why?
This is horrible. It was this like weird like goth band that I was like, this is bringing them joy all week. How has this been bringing them joy all week?
Is it spelled like Yul Brynner?
I don't know. But see, this is why Mom could hear me yelling about Yule.
Well, how did this get into Yul Brynner?
I don't know. I said something like they're no Yul Brynner or whatever.
Okay. I have no idea how Yule. Y-E.
Yeah.
U-L-E. They played Skull Crusher.
Yeah.
On live. I can't play the audio of this, but I just want to look at them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so is this not surprising that Richard Kind was like, oh yeah, I love Yule, and then John Mulaney is like, they bring us so much joy, and I was just like, what is this?
They look like they're on sprockets.
Yeah, and I just thought it was bad.
Well, listen, you're right. There are no Yul Brynner. You were right about that, Kristen. Yeah. All right. Enough. I think they look like they would be buying some haunted dolls, if I'm being honest.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, everybody.
I'm sorry if anybody loves Yule. Look, I don't have good taste or anything, so don't worry about it.
Kristen's not lying. She has the worst taste. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate you. We appreciate your time, quite frankly. We'll be back next week. There's no knowing where we may be going.
I don't know.
If you'd like, you can follow us online. We're at GTTUpod on all social media. We'd love it if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts, stars on Spotify. That I should
talk to you all. I don't feel great about
this. Feel free to leave.
I do feel bad.
If you need to leave a 5-star review, but also on the side be like, Kristen Yul's great.
I do feel bad.
You know, like you screwed up.
They're doing their thing. Good for them. It's just my opinion.
You'll get what's coming to you.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't like to talk bad.
I don't like to talk bad. Anyway, you can also follow us individually online.
Yep, I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
That's where all hate
No, don't.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. So we'll see you next week, everybody. Yep. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we. Actually, I love Yule.
Okay.
Actually, I do.
You sure? Because everything that you said, it sure would be a shame if somebody clipped all of this and put it in like the Yule subreddit.
No.
Along with your home address.
No, don't. I will send Chamolka after you, or whatever that doll's name is. Chamolk?
Meet Chamolk.
Yeah, I will send Chamolk after you if you do that to me.
Meet Chamolk. That's my comedy movie. White background poster, red font. Like Meet the Fockers, I guess.
Woo.
Meet Chamolk.
I think that sounds nice.